Hi students, this is Ms. Maykel here, and for today's art project I wanted to create a castle in the clouds. I think this is going to be a very fun art project for us to do together and a great way for us to remember all the shapes that we have been working with. So the first thing that I'm going to do is gather all my materials to be able to create my castle in the clouds. I'm going to need white paper. This is where I'm going to build my castle. And I'm also going to need paint, and this paint is for my background. I'm going to make sure that I decorate my entire paper before I start putting my shapes on it and creating my castle. You guys can use something else. You don't have to use paint. You can use crayons, you can use markers, or you can use paint. Just make sure that you decorate your entire background before you start working. And then I'm going to use these cotton balls to create my clouds. Okay, and then I'm going to cut out from construction paper, which everyone has. I'm going to cut out all the shapes that I have been working with, and I'm going to label them. Just want to make sure that you guys can see it. All my shapes are labeled, as all your shapes should be labeled too. I have here a triangle and I wrote it down. I have here a trapezoid. I have here an oval, and so on. So make sure you cut out all the shapes that we have been working with. If you can add more shapes, that's okay too. Just make sure all your shapes are labeled. So the first thing that I'm going to do for my castle in the clouds is decorate my canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and create a nice sky. And for this part, I'm going to use blue for the sky. Like I said, you can use any materials that you feel comfortable with. If watercolors are not your thing, that's okay. You guys can use markers, crayons, whatever you would like. Just make sure that you decorate the sky for your castle. Now, almost always the sky looks blue, but sometimes there's some purple in there when the sun is setting. We also have our pinks, we have night, we have black in the nighttime. You guys can do the sky however you would like. Just make sure that you decorate your entire sky. And I'm almost done with this part. Let me show you guys. Here we go. So, my sky is ready. And here you go. Now I'm going to start building my castle. So I'm going to use these big rectangle, and this is going to be a tower. I'm going to go ahead and glue my first shape. And I'm going to put it right here. And then I'm going to add some windows. So I'm going to use squares and rectangles for the windows. So I have here just a few windows. And then I'm going to also use square. Then I'm going to go ahead and use this rectangle as a part of my castle. I also have trapezoids that I can use for the windows, also for the roof. Then I have here another rectangle that I would like to use for a tower. And then make sure you include all your shapes. And this is how it's looking so far. It doesn't look much like a castle yet, but we're gonna get there. Then I have here a hexagon. And then I'm going to go ahead and add more rectangles. And then 2 trapezoids for the roof. I have one here and one here. And then another one here. And then I'm going to add some windows. Some more windows in all my towers. I have a rhombus here. And then for my doors and my windows, I'm going to use my squares and my rectangles. So over here in this rectangle, I'm gonna add another rectangle yet. And then if you run out of squares, this is how you do them. You get 2 triangles. You can also do a diamond, or you can shift it like this. And then over here, I'm also going to do another hexagon for this door. And now that I'm almost done with my castle, I'm sure you guys can make a much better castle than me. I'm going to add my clouds because my castle is in the clouds. So I'm going to go ahead and get my cotton balls. And then I'm going to add them all the way here. Just gonna spread them out like this. Now, of course, you can do some decorations. Of course, you can add some drawings all around. You can add flowers, floating flowers. You can add all kinds of stuff. Just make sure you have your castle made of shapes in the sky. And this is my final. I'm not sure you guys can see it, but I love it. And this is my castle in the sky. Now on a separate piece of paper, I'm going to go ahead and write down castle in the sky. And then I'm going to list all the shapes that I used. For example, for my castle in the sky, I used 1, 2, 3, and 4 rectangles, 5. So I'm going to go ahead and write 5 rectangles. How many trapezoids did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm also going to write 5 trapezoids. How many hexagons? I see 1 and 2. So I'm going to list 2 hexagons. And make sure that you label all the shapes that you use to build your castle in the skies. Make sure you list them on a separate piece of paper so that the children can practice the spelling of the shapes. Make sure you draw it next to its name so that the children can associate the spelling and the name with the actual shape. And I hope everyone enjoys building your castle in the skies. See you next time.